Well, under normal circumstances, if this was a private business, my answer would be yes. This would be like what we saw at the Bay. Couldn't avoid the failure. The difference here is this is a quasi-governmental agency, and although nothing is happening at Canada Post that isn't happening with other post offices around the world, so far, no post office anywhere in the world has been allowed to close. Translation is the government would likely step in. And I guess my question in all of this is, yes, we've got the labor uncertainty, and that's caused some of the problems, but it's also some of the operational uncertainty that's caused problems. For instance, moving on this idea of getting rid of some door-to-door delivery in favor of community mailboxes, looking at closing some of the smaller post offices in favor of kiosks, those are not part of the contract. The federal government could actually change the operating mandate of Canada Post to allow that today. Should have done it at least 9 months ago. Probably should have done it 5 years ago. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, also weekend delivery. I mean, the other private companies are eating Canada Post lunch. People are used to getting parcels the next day nowadays, not waiting a week and getting stuff delivered on the weekends as well. And, people at home may not be aware of where the labor dispute stands right now. I mean, Canada Post is obviously operating, but, there are ongoing talks here. They were supposed to happen Friday, postponed to Monday. Yesterday, they were postponed again. And so there doesn't seem to be any resolution here. I'm not sure what the end game is here, Marvin. What do you think?
Well, to me, it's the exact same end game as you saw with Air Canada. We had a vote on the last contract from Canada Post. It was rejected. I think the workers looked at this as saying, well, that's the worst deal we can get. Maybe we can get to some kind of binding arbitration. The worst we'll get is the exact same deal that was put in front of us. Maybe the arbitrator would agree on some of our points and give us more. I would suggest, what are we waiting for? Let's get to that binding arbitration, and let's get that side of it sorted out. So we need to sort out the labor strife. That would get some confidence back. Let's deal with some of the operational issues. But even those two things are not going to be enough. Canada Post has a goodwill deficit at the moment, and it's got to go out there and win back customers.
Yeah, is it too late for some people, do you think? Have they decided, you know what, I don't want to deal with this. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, there's two things in Canada Post's favor. Number one, it is the only service that we have that is mandated to serve every mailbox in Canada. Translation, the private courier companies do a great job in urban and suburban markets, but generally speaking, if you had to get a parcel to Nunavut, if you had to get a parcel to Prince George, you might be out of luck using the private people. Canada Post will get it there. And secondly, prices. A lot of the small business people still like Canada Post prices for delivering these parcels. They don't like what's coming out of the private sector. So if we could get stability back, if we could get operational efficiency back, I think it is possible to win back some of those customers, but we've got to make a lot happen in a short period of time.
Hey, just before we go quickly, do you think the union is being realistic, Marvin, in terms of what its expectations are given the current climate and given how much money Canada Post is hemorrhaging?
Right. It's so tempting for me to say, no, they're not being realistic. But again, remember, they've looked around the world. No other post office system has been allowed to collapse. Governments have stepped in somehow, one way or another. In the case of the United States, they actually increased the contribution from the federal government to keep the United States Postal Service solvent. So that's their gamble. They just don't think it's going to fail no matter how bad the numbers are.
Hey, always good to see you, Marvin. Great to have you with us on Canada Post today, my friend.
Glad to be with you.
Marvin Ryder with his take on Canada Post losing more than $400 million in the second quarter.